Hi, I'm Debbie Raymond.
And I'm Bob McDermott. Welcome to Paranormal and Beyond. This is our last show for the season, so we're really happy to end it this way. We've got a very exciting guest, Sherry Comeau. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Sherry's going to take us through sound vibration balance and healing and lots of good stuff. And we got our friend back with us, Lisa O. Willette with an O. Lisa's come back because she's going to help us demonstrate just how the vibrations work, and she's going to give us some feedback on that. So, again, welcome to the show, and let's get rolling. Sherry, we always start off with this question. How did you get interested in this field?
Oh my God, that is a loaded question, I'll tell you. I was 10 years old, I'm giving away my age, and I was watching Star Trek. I don't know if you guys remember that. You guys
Star Trek, sure.
Trekkies?
Yes.
I was 10 years old, this is the original episode. Kirk and Spock were on this planet, and they were trying to save this damsel in distress. She was abducted by aliens, and she was an empath, and she could cure people just simply by touching them. And for Hollywood, she would draw all of what was in the person into herself, and you could see all of the contortions in her
Right.
face and body, and then it would leave her and the person or being she was working on, and then she would just collapse on the floor for Hollywood, for drama. And it was amazing for a 10-year-old to see that. I mean, back in the day, they didn't have all this holistic stuff.
Sure.
It was just fantastic. So that kind of sparked my interest, and it really inspired me. And I knew then I'm going to be doing that. I don't know how or why, but down the road I will. And then I started with Reiki in my late 20s
Wow.
and kept going.
So there was a gap in time from 10 to
Till
late
my
teens,
20s.
early 20s.
Yeah.
Had you always thought about it, Sherry? I mean, was it something that just kind of left you at 10 or 11 years old and came back? Or
It
was
just left me.
It just
Yeah,
left
but
you?
I could always hear the spirit guides on the other side, but I didn't really know what it was that I was hearing or
Yes.
tapping, because I wasn't trying to, but I could hear them
Right. Right.
and knew. And I didn't come from a family of praying people, or not that that makes a difference, but I didn't come from a family of all of that. So, but I prayed constantly. I mean, people that I knew that were dying or ill, I would constantly pray for them. So, I don't know. There was just something there.
So when somebody seeks out a medium, seeks out a psychic like you, Lisa, or seeks out you, what type of people are looking for your help? People that are sick, people that are ill, people that are...
You know what? I get the gambit of a lot of different people. It's not a function that is geared for just one specific modality. I mean, somebody comes in and they're usually filled with anxiety, or they're just coming into the new awakening that everybody is going through right now on this planet. But anxiety, stress, headaches, unclear thinking, people that are just scattered energies, and they can't seem to get their self together,
Right.
unmotivated, or just exhausted.
Looking for answers for something
Right,
they
for
can't
something.
figure out. Yeah.
Or they're trying to get off of alcoholism, or they're trying to get off of drugs, or they're trying to get off of just prescription drugs. They're just sick of going to the doctors and not getting relief, because this does give you relief, and you do feel something moving through your system even immediately when I start working on
Wow.
it. So it's not just for any specific health or reason of any kind.
Right.
It can be very small, it can be very large.
Right. Right.
I've also known people, friends of mine, that were ill with different kinds of cancers who actually went to see energy healers like yourself.
Yep.
And raved about it. So I think that it can be used for something like that as well. And I've also known a couple that I'm close with that had issues with trying to have a baby.
Yes.
And they saw someone
Really?
too, and now she's having a baby. So it's
Wow.
very exciting.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm
Well,
saying? I
and
want
just
to
to-
let the viewers know that too.
And it's helpful,
So
even if
exciting.
they're doing Reiki or they're doing
Right.
Melchizedek, like the other work that I do,
Right.
or tuning forks. What it's doing is it's releasing tension, like
Yes.
Ken, my trusty little boyfriend here. It releases tension or static vibration that's built
Right.
up in our field. So eventually, what I'm doing is it's taking it away in layers.
Amazing.
So this is the field here. It's
Yes.
5 feet wide on either side of your body. It's 2 feet up. It's 2 feet below your feet. And it's in that field that I'm working. And I start at the 5-foot mark. That's your birth line. And I work towards the body, as we're going to see in a few minutes. We'll probably have time
That's
to do
great.
a demonstration.
Ooh.
And I will work on this
So
young
fun.
lady
Yes.
here. So it's 5 feet. And what I'm doing literally is combing through that field right over the chakra center that I'm working on, and then pull it out. So what
Yes.
I'm doing is actually using the tuning forks to comb through the journey of life at each one of the 7 chakras.
Right.
So I start at the feet and the knees and then the 7 chakras, and I go up one side of your body and then continue down the other side of your body. So it's one quick loop. I don't stop and then go back. It's one quick loop, and then I usually
So,
at the
so you
end
work
wrap.
your way all the way around,
All the way around. It's a continuous circle.
counterclockwise.
Is there a tuning fork for different chakras?
There are, but I have just found through, my own work and with the woman that taught me also, I use 2. And these with the straight edge, you can clearly hear anywhere in the room. And they each have their own frequency.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big difference in
Right. You hear
the
frequency.
difference, yeah.
Yes, and this is very high.
Yes.
It's your 963, that's your 528, and that's your 174. These you can't really hear, but these we use to touch the physical body.
Right.
Oh, I
And
can
you
feel
can
that.
feel it, Lisa?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it
I
goes-
could actually feel it when she did it and wasn't even touching me.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah, so.
So
that's
what this is
interesting.
doing is it's working on the chi in
Wow.
your body as well as out here. That moves the chi through
That's
meridian
great.
lines in your body. So if there's any blocks, it opens up those
Right.
blockages and helps the chi move better.
Wow.
It's also really helpful for sciatic nerve discomfort
Yes.
and muscle knots and tension. And
Wow.
whether you're male or female doesn't matter. Gender doesn't play into this at all in anything that we're doing. Most people hold their tension in their neck
Yes.
and shoulders.
So,
It's
so
true.
explain to our viewers, because I think we've talked about this before, but I don't know, Deb, we've ever really defined it.
Right.
Is the word chakras?
Chakra.
Chakras.
Chakras?
Yep.
Tell us what they are.
There's energy centers actually in this. I don't have a bulletin
Yeah.
with me. I actually have one in the car. It's
couple.
too bad I didn't bring one.
There's
Yeah,
a couple
this
here,
is
but-
the children.
Right.
Yep.
But you can still see them, and there's 7
Right.
of them, and they go all the way up. So you have your root chakra, your sacral,
Mm-hmm.
your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown. In those energy centers, they spin constantly, and sometimes they can stop or get blocked and shut off. So the energy field or the chi that's moving through your system is actually moving through those. Those are helping the chi move through your body. If they close off, the energy field as it's moving through your body like this,
Yep.
just to give you an example, if it goes to the heart area and there's a block or it's closed or almost closed, it's really small, what it's going to do is go to it, go around it, and
Yes.
continue. Go around it and continue. And what happens is when we don't have the chi or the energy field moving through our body, helping the organs, because they fuel the organs take a beating and they
Right.
drop in vibration. So even though we're all human beings, whether we're male or female, you have a spleen, I have a spleen, you
Right.
have a liver, they all work according to your individual vibration. So we're all exactly the same and uniquely different and defined
Wow.
Right.
by our vibration.
Right.
Now, when I was doing the research, and, I was really glad to see this, because I think the day is coming when science,
It's very
religion,
close.
and what we do is starting to come together in a
Yeah.
lot of the fields. But I noticed that they offered these courses, this exact course, at Stanford, UCLA, and another school in Washington State, that they're actually offering this course as accredited course.
Wow.
So that means that education is now saying, okay, there's something to
Going
this.
on, yeah.
Right.
Well, the veil is being lifted.
The veil's being
Yes.
lifted. Great. That's a great way to say it. It is. And science is now finally coming around to say, let's look beyond because a scientist has to have very hard, firm proof
Right.
Right.
of everything they do. I mean,
Everything,
that's
right,
their
yes.
that's their
Right.
makeup.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to say, wow, we've seen this work. We've seen mediums. We've seen psychics work and test out. There's something to this. So
Right.
it's interesting to see
Yeah.
how quickly that's come around
A lot.
in really very few years. I mean,
Right.
it's probably 50, but since the day of burning witches at the stake.
Right. This particular technique that I'm using, I really resonated with. I took a class many years ago, back in 2007, in Andover, Mass. And I didn't particularly care for the style the man was teaching. He was just not for me. And I took all the notes I could take and listened, and it just didn't resonate with me. But I knew I was supposed to be getting into sound. So I kept searching Google and looking for others and watching YouTube, because for some strange reason, they were pushing me hard to get into sound. I found a woman in Vermont. I resonated with her immediately. She does teach this at the university in Johnson.
There you go, see,
Vermont.
Yeah.
And she also teaches all over the country.
as accredited course.
Yeah, at Johnson University,
That's
yes, as
great.
accredited course. So she is teaching that as well as, like you said, other people are teaching it in different parts of the country, so.
Well, also,
This is
hospitals
fantastic.
are introducing these programs
Yes.
now. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, Portsmouth Regional has already been offering Reiki since
Right.
30 years
That's
now.
right. Really?
A minimum of 30 years.
Wow.
Because when I got into Reiki back in 1998, they were already offering it there.
oh,
I think they
So-
do in the Manchester hospitals as
Yeah.
well, too.
really?
I did some
Okay,
volunteer
I-
work at Elliott Hospital many years ago
Yeah.
doing the Reiki, and we did
That's
clinics.
great.
We
Yeah.
had, no lie, we had a minimum of 10 of us people that would volunteer once a month
Right.
or twice a month at Elliott Hospital, and we would have no less than 40 people show up.
Really?
And you only got
Yes.
20 minutes on the table. So it's definitely been on the upswing for the last 70 years.
So when you say Elliott Hospital, we're not
Yeah.
picking on them, but
No.
was this sanctioned by the doctors, by the hospital?
Yeah, there were nurses there
Wow.
participating in it with us.
I mean, it's groundbreaking.
So it wasn't
Yes, it
just
is.
lay people doing the Reiki work. Some of them were nurses.
I mean,
was
only
wonderful.
recently has the medical profession
Yeah.
recognized, what's the needles? Acupuncture.
Acupuncture, yeah.
Acupuncture, right.
They've only, and you know, even now, some of them say, you know, I'm not sure of that. But here's a practice that doctors are open to. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing.
Yes,
right?
it
Yeah,
is.
chiropractic started the same way, as you guys know. They boo-hooed them for years, thought they
Yep.
were bone crackers, thought they were nuts.
Yep.
And now they're covered under insurance. So it's just a matter
That's
of time.
right.
Yeah.
Human beings are very fearful of everything new, and when we are fearful of something, what is
Yeah.
the first thing that we do? We either push it away or kill it, shoot it,
Right.
stab it.
Right.
No, I don't want
Yes.
that. Oh my God. We shut down.
Yeah, right.
It's just, we're just slow to fruition, but it is coming.
Yeah,
And
you
it's
can
just
see it.
coming faster now because we're moving into
Right.
that fifth dimension vibration. It's all about just vibrations and frequencies. That's all it is.
Right.
This is
So-
why we're doing the show.
Yes,
Is because
emotions
we
are
want
very
the viewers
low.
to learn more and to be educated on
Yep.
things that they might not take the time to even get educated about.
Sure.
So that's why we're so happy to have you here.
Oh, thank
You
you.
know, so this way
Thank
we
you.
can show them a
People
little bit
what this is
something
about.
different. Yes.
Well, that's why
Unique.
I started offering the 20-minute sessions at expos and fairs for a very nominal fee, which I'm not going to say, but
Right.
that's why I do it. It's to help educate the public
Yes.
so
Right.
that they can try it. Or chiropractors' offices. Some people will call me and hire me to do clinics. I did one in Rowley, Mass, and they had 10 people sign up. So I did a clinic, and it was an all-day thing. It was
Yep.
wonderful. They were thrilled.
That's
I had
just-
some of
that's
them-
some residence ghost we have here.
Nice.
Just up in the
I actually
center,
had
so.
some people walk away from the table crying because
Wow.
it's a huge release. So everybody feels it differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really something.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, tell me some of the terms. You know, when I was researching this, there are some really tough terms.
There's 70 different names just for the biofield. 70.
There you go.
God.
Because I
70
kept,
different names.
you know, I kept reading this about the biofield,
Yeah.
and then I'd see something differently. So, you know,
Yeah,
so I'd go
yeah.
to read that, and I'd say, "Wait a minute, that's the same thing I just read, but it's a different name.
But it's a
Why is
different
that?" It was.
Well, you know, Westerners, Western civilization, we love control. We're control freaks, sadly, and we just like to have control over, oh, no, it's this, let's call it this. Oh, no,
Yep.
let's call it that. Morphic field, aura, biofield, you
Right.
name it.
Right.
Etheric field. There's 70 different names.
You know, one of the things that I kept looking at was something called auto healing response system.
Yeah.
Is that something built into us?
Yeah, that's just self-healing. That's
Self-healing.
just self-healing, isn't it? And look at all the words they use, that giant
Exactly.
sentence. Wow, that sounds so impressive.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
nothing, it's self-healing. You know, it's seeking out,
Yes.
you know, avenues, even if it's self-taught, you know, self-help
Right.
books
Right,
to
right.
learn how
But-
to take care of yourself.
But would you say though, Sherry, this is where society is getting confused if we have 70 different
Names
names,
for the aura.
Right.
and
Yes.
you know definitions or what it's the
Right.
same
Thing.
thing.
Right.
But this is where I think they're all getting confused, or there
Yeah.
can be confusion.
Right.
Because there's so many of them, instead of it just telling it to one. Like, you know
Well,
what I'm
that's
saying?
why I tell everybody when they come to me, whether they're coming to my office for a sample session, you can come and have a sample session once, just like I do at an expo or a fair. There's 70 different names, and I tell them up front, just go with aura. If you don't like biofield, if you don't like etheric field,
Right.
whatever doesn't resonate, just throw in aura.
Right.
Because that's what we're working with, your aura.
Right.
Yes.
Simple, clean, and simple.
Exactly.
Well, you had said one time in a conversation we had off camera that to keep it simple.
Yeah.
You said that that's the best method.
If you want
And
to
you know,
try
I
to
think
help
that that's
the
so.
the masses, it's
Yes.
less
Absolutely.
confusing for
Right.
people.
But I think that's so with mediums or psychics or you know, if you try to simplify it for people, for the
Right.
client, it's so much easier for them to understand.
Well, it's to educate
What am I doing?
and help.
And why am I
Yes.
doing it? That's
Right,
the
right.
important thing.
It's
I-
not to talk over them and to show people how much
Exactly.
education you have or how much of this
Right.
you have and how many gigantic words we can use.
Hmm.
You know, I have all these certificates just like everybody else. Who cares? I don't even put them out.
It's so true.
Right.
I don't care.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not about that.
So tell me about your client base, not by names, but
Mm-hmm.
your demographics of your clients. Age a factor?
No, it's not a factor, but they usually start their awakening in their early 40s, late 30s. That's when I usually start getting bombarded.
Really?
People start to wake up at that timeline. And I have anywhere from that age up until 80.
Wow.
And they're
Up
open
until
to doing
80?
it, yeah, and they're open to try it, and have had marvelous success, especially
Wow.
people that have arthritis or
Right.
you
Right.
name it.
Wow.
And
Stomach
have you ever
troubles.
worked on animals or anyone's pets before?
I have. And normally when I do that, I go to their home.
Yes.
So that the animal is more comfortable, because they are freaked out, although they do like this. My cat, just to give you an example, I also do sound with crystal bowls, and I use 7 quartz
that.
crystal singing bowls, and they're beautiful, and a Zen tambour. Well, when I would do the meditations at night in my house, my cat would come from the other side of the apartment, sleeping, lay down in my lap while I was playing during
My cat loves
meditation.
I have the crown
Yes.
chakra one, and he loves that one.
Love
He'll
it.
lay down right at my
Lays
feet
right
when he
there.
does
That's
it. Yep.
awesome.
Really?
Loved it, and it would stay for the whole hour if I played for the hour.
Wow.
And then when I was done, she would just saunter off the other room. Now, my dad, before his passing recently, he got a little tiny dog, and he had the most wonderful personality. And he said to this one gentleman, this is just how he was, "Hey, how much you want for that dog?" And the guy would say, no, sell my dog. A few days would go by, he'd come back again, "Hey, how much you want for that dog?" So no. So a few more times of that, and then the guy came by and he just showed up in my father's office and he said, "Hey, I want to give you the dog. We're moving, my wife and I, and sadly we can't take the dog with us.
Oh.
Would you take the dog?" And he said, "Are you kidding me? Is this a trick?" "No." "Oh my God, all right." So he took the dog, so now I have it.
Oh,
And this dog is no bigger than this. It's a little tiny white chihuahua.
Yeah.
Long
Oh,
hair, though.
my
Oh my God,
goodness.
isn't he cute? His name is Tigger. And the reason I brought you that story up is he's adorable. He loves everything. He loves people. He just likes you to hold him like a little baby. He's getting used to these. He's not quite sure what this is. So when I play it, if he's laying in his little bed, he'll be like, his ears will go right up because he's got really long ears for some strange reason. So he's not a purebred.
Yeah.
And he'll just look at him and then walk away. He's not ready for this yet. But I haven't tried a crystal bowl yet. So I'm going to do a
what
crystal
about
bowl
the
with him.
silent ones.
He would hear
I
it.
mean, yeah.
He would
So
feel it. He
is
wouldn't
that
even necessarily
interesting?
hear it,
Yeah,
but he would feel
yeah.
that. Yeah.
The
That's
animal sense
amazing.
energy, right? Like my
Yes.
cats, when I take out my cards,
Yes.
he'll lay on top of my angel cards.
That
he just
is
loves
amazing.
energy. Like he
Yes,
can
he
feel the
does.
vibration
Yeah.
of them.
They are very
Wow.
high vibration beings, and they're here
Yeah.
to teach us something, just like the indigo children. They're
Yep.
here to teach us.
Yeah.
Autistic children.
You know, it's an amazing study, I think, and to me, I'm starting to see more of it. I don't think I've heard of this before 2 or 3 years ago.
Really?
Have
And
you?
this has been
Really?
around since
From
the
Lisa.
1600s.
Yeah.
It's not new.
So it's been around for quite a while.
Yes.
I
It goes
mean-
underground periodically for the masses get really out of control. So for control over the masses, big corporations and big companies, things like this or healers had to go underground. Just
Yeah.
like psychics years and years ago, they would do back in the 40s when, what was his name, Arthur Ford. One of my favorite stories is, what's her name? She was a journalist. Ruth Montgomery. She found him, and she was a journalist, and they wanted her to do an interview on him, and she was like, she worked for the Post. "Are you kidding? You want me to interview a psychic?" This is back in the 40s. She didn't want to do it. She hummed and hawed, did it, thought he was the most unusual, gifted man she had ever met, and she just loved him to pieces. They stayed best friends. And then she got into learning more about that field. She knew how to
Right.
do automatic writing. When he passed, they still stayed friends. He would communicate with her from the other side. She wrote several books with him in it and what things were happening and going
Right.
on. amazing if you ever want to read an interesting book. Ruth Montgomery.
Ruth Montgomery, we'll have to do that. We'll have to get her on the show.
No, she's passed over.
Oh,
That's my
well, you get her on the show. You're a medium.
Yeah, but the gentleman that she brought in one of her books, it's called Born to Heal, his name was William E. Gray. And in it, he was so connected with his ego. He had no qualms about not even having his name in the book. She referred to him in the book as Mr. A. He refused to have his name in the book. He is part of my soul group, and he works with me. with
Really?
energies.
Oh.
And he could literally just do this and put his hands on people, and he could hear the vibration and realign it with his fingertips. He was like a walking, talking tuning fork. This was back in the
That's
40s.
amazing.
That's awesome.
Yes, he was an amazing man.
Wow.
So he has really taught me a lot from the other side.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
see?
so why does he have that ability to do
A
that?
very high vibration being when he came in. Just like Tesla.
But
All
it's-
of the greats, they had very high vibrations.
But is vibration something you can increase yourself?
Yes,
Or are you just born with vibration at a level?
you're born at a certain level, but you can upgrade your vibration, certainly. This helps, didgeridoos, crystal bowls, Zen tambours, you name it.
Can you
Drumming.
sense vibration in people? Can you sense
Yeah.
their
I do too.
frequency?
Yeah.
I do too. I was just
Yes.
curious.
And
yeah.
you know, I'm
Yeah.
sure all of us have experiences. If you walk into a room like at a wedding or a conference or something, and you come across some people that are like, oh, I don't like that person. I don't even know who that is, and I don't like them. Your bubble, don't forget, is 5 feet wide, so is theirs. And if you get close enough, you're bumping into each other,
Right.
and you're feeling and knowing. It's a
That's
knowing.
so true.
That vibration
the solar
knows.
plexus.
knows their
So
vibration,
true.
and that's why you don't resonate, because the vibration's too low or too off from your own.
right.
Now, I have to ask a question about, say, like depression and things like that as well. So when someone has depression, and we're not diagnosing anything,
No.
but is that because it's a lower vibration?
Well, and that's where this
Right.
this comes into play. I'll give you an example of why this chart is here, and then it'll explain why
Yes.
people have depression. In the bubble, as a child, your mother and father are literally fueling, no matter how many children your parents have,
Right.
they are literally fueling your field. So your mother is fueling the yin, that's the female side. Your dad is fueling the yang, the male side of you. If the dad is working, a workaholic, he's never around, chances are he got that because his father was the same way. And I tell my clients, step back. It's not a blame game. They can only give you what they got. So if the dad's vibration was low, the right side of the child, whether it's male or female, doesn't matter, is going to be depleted. Generally, the liver, the gallbladder, and the colon is the right side organs that are
Yes.
affected by the dad
Interesting.
not fueling the field enough.
Yes.
The left side is the spleen, stomach, pancreas, and intestines. Kidneys and adrenals are on both sides, so it's both parents. Their thyroid, both parents. But you stifle the energies because the vibration is too low. I mean, people can become wounded. So back in the day, they didn't have holistic stuff. So the mother, if she was fueling the child and was wounded herself, because like back in the 40s and 50s, I mean, women didn't even have the vote until the 20s.
Right.
So back in those days, in that era, whatever was taking place, let's say the husband was really mean to her, or her father was really mean to her, or her grandfather, or somebody, her field is depleted.
Right.
So she can only give her child what she's got.
Right.
So if hers wasn't really built up, she's not going to be able to give her child this great big giant field unless the child comes through like an indigo, like an Asperger's, or autistic. They come through with very high vibrations, and
Right.
they're misdiagnosed, and they give them Ritalin, and they give them all this crap. They're very high vibrations. So with that said, if we lift our vibrations by doing sound, you pulling out, as we said about Ken, you're pulling the static off of the person in layers, they feel it. I did a
Yeah.
talk show the other night on TV with somebody that you know, and the gentleman was like, oh my God, I can feel that. I can feel the energy moving through my body. I can actually feel my energy going up. Because what it's doing is it's releasing
I'm
the
excited.
organs in your body of toxic static.
Yeah.
We build this up by overthinking things, thinking, worrying, drama, gossip, hanging out with people that are like, blah, 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 blah. Did you see that outfit? Did you see that car? Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. That is low vibration. What you think, what you say, everything holds a vibration. So what I tell my clients is, if you're working with people that are really nasty or mean to you at work, colleagues, don't engage. You're feeding it. Do not engage. And I know that's easier said than done, but through meditation, and I'm compiling now, putting together a meditation class for basic meditation for people that want to learn. And the first thing they say is, I can't meditate. I can't get my mind to quiet down. I know. And the reason for that is because centuries and centuries we have been thinking that the mind is controlling us and that we're just human beings searching for spirituality, and we are not. We're spiritual beings here having a human experience.
Exactly.
So it's been twisted for years for a reason. It's shifting. We don't want to be controlled anymore. We want to learn. We're pulling the blinders off. We want to learn. So
Sure.
that's why we're elevating and more. So as I clear somebody's field more and more, they become less depressed, better clarity of thought, and they move forward. And many other things. Each area holds a specific timeline and a specific
Wow.
information.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
Now, does this work on everybody?
Everybody. The only people I can't work on is somebody that has a pacemaker or something to do with a heart monitor, because that is setting up a specific vibration. These will alter it, and we don't want to do that.
Right.
So I don't.
But your experience with your clients, and you've been doing this for a while now, right? Do they actually heal? I mean,
Yeah, most definitely. And it's up to the individual. And what I tell my clients is, just to give them an example, I offer several packages, but the first 3 is a kickstart. Come in once a week for 3 weeks. You're going to have a huge, almost epiphany. You're going to have a huge shift in your energy field, and you're going to feel the difference. After that, you come back when your body, watch for the signs. I don't tell you when to come in, watch for the signs. See how you're thinking, see how you're feeling, and go with it. When you start to feel sluggish again, or lackadaisical, or angry thoughts, things like that, it's time for another tune-up.
okay, so
Because this is the vehicle we chose to come in
Yes.
with, so keep it tuned up.
so help us out. Somebody comes to you for the first 3 weeks,
Yep.
and they take that basic package. What can they expect to experience? Not the first or second week, but the whole 3 weeks.
Yep.
So they come to you and then they finish.
Right.
What could they what physical?
Will they go through?
Yeah. What would they see?
They could feel like they have enormous amounts of energy, much clearer thinking. They could feel very tired, very calm, almost, and because everybody's different. We're all uniquely different, even though
Right,
we're the same.
right.
They could feel very calm, very relaxed, almost in slow motion. And during the course of the first week, after somebody has a session, or even their first session, you could feel crying jags. You could start crying at the drop of a hat. Nobody's even talking to you. You could
Okay,
start
so now
laughing.
you've said that
It's so
2 or 3
true.
times today so far
Yes.
that you start crying. Why that emotion?
Because it's right on the surface, and it is emotion, and it needs to be released because it is a vibration. And
Huh.
we hold a lot of emotion in our field. We are very emotional beings, and that's what holds us down. When we can rise above emotions, we start to let go of a lot of crap on this plane. So what we're doing is releasing. So all we're doing is releasing.
Crying is a good way to release.
It is.
It is.
Well, it is.
But
Yeah,
I
no,
know-
it is. You're right.
but I
And I've
Also,
only had one
you're
person
right.
throw up.
Oh, God.
That was the strangest experience I've ever had. This poor
That's
thing.
another release.
I felt so bad for her, but she said, "Oh my God, this was at an expo," and that's a very real thing. So I want to
But
reiterate
it does
that.
happen, right? You know,
It depends
does,
on the
it can
person.
happen, exactly.
And she was crying
Um,
after. She said, "I can't believe this. This is so crazy."
Let's hope I stick to crying.
Oh, you know.
Or
But you know-
laughing. You
Yeah.
could start laughing and giggling the same way as crying, and nobody's even
Exactly.
around you. So it's not just limited to that. But then you could feel twinges of energy rushing through your body like water through a hose. You could just feel it rushing through your body in a week from now. And you're just watching TV or reading a book,
Right.
being
Well-
quiet.
Another way to explain it, because I know exactly where she's coming from with this, and if I'm wrong, please tell me, but I really think that we ingest so much information on a daily basis, whether it's a conversation at a restaurant, whether it's TV,
Standing
whether
in
it's
an elevator.
social media, standing in an elevator, going to the post office, listening to the radio. We listen and hear so much and ingest it that there's only so many things we can actually take.
And it's not even just
And-
listening.
Exactly.
Your
It's
body
ingesting
is
it.
absorbing.
That's what I mean. It's ingesting
from your
it.
field.
Right.
That's why I say it's 5 feet wide, one
Yes,
person.
yes.
So you got to figure if yours is 5, mine's 5. We're all feeling a little bit of each other's
Of course,
stuff.
yes.
So we're combated just by the weather alone.
Right.
Go to the grocery store. We're combated by people walking in the store.
That's why I always go at 7 in the morning.
Nobody's
I
there.
always
That's when I go.
first thing in the morning,
Yep.
always.
Yep.
And remember when we
Yeah.
had done a show and I had told
There's
you,
very
I
few
said,
people
I
there.
don't even watch the news.
No.
I do not have anything violent
I
coming
agree.
out of my TV.
Same here.
Okay, so do you
I'm
watch
very
the
strict
news?
about that.
Never.
Do you
don't
watch
either.
the news?
No.
Oh,
I
give you a
even
high
stopped
five.
watching TV shows like Criminal
don't
Minds
either.
and things.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, low
Yes.
vibration. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I actually
Yeah.
surround during my meditation. I do a meditation every morning between an hour and a half, and then again at night. The one in the evening is usually a little bit shorter than that. But I surround all of my electronics, myself, my vehicle, and my house every single day, and I don't miss
Right.
in a divine grid, so that it doesn't malfunction in my computer. It doesn't malfunction anything.
Because today, we're certainly in a media onslaught today. I mean,
Yes.
there's no doubt about it with
Electronics,
the
yeah.
internet and,
Yes.
I mean, you know.
Electronics are really high.
Yeah,
Cell
high
phones,
frequency, yeah,
iPhones,
yeah.
the whole 9 yards, all we're getting is data. I mean, data is
Right.
all we see all the time. Turn on the television, it's, I think right now there's 5 or 6 newscasts on TV that
That's for
last
control, though.
2 hours, so.
Yeah, those medias are for control of the masses because they're not really in control of what they're doing. A lot of those are puppets, sadly.
Right.
And
I agree.
they're downloaded with information. There's lots of light beings here helping.
Misinformation.
Yeah,
a
but there's
lot
lots
times.
of low vibration beings here infiltrating people. So I'm sure you've heard. You don't have to watch the news. You'll hear it. The happening that took place in Florida.
Right.
Or many years ago when it first started in Columbine. Those are people that are attached by low vibration energy or
Right.
entities, whatever you want to call them. We have many dimensions just in the
right.
three-dimensional plane. So when we're low vibration, somebody's depressed, somebody's down, somebody's going through a divorce, somebody just lost their house, lost their job, they're just sad, they're depressed, they're drinking, they're drugging, whatever they're doing. They're lowering their vibration enormously because of what they're going through and not trying to pick themselves up instead. And what happens is the low vibrations, now you're vibrating at a three-dimensional plane, they're vibrating much lower. You're lowering your vibration. They're very easy to swoop in and jump in. And I do medium clearing as well, structures and people. This is done remotely. I work with divine pillars of light, and they come through me with very high intense vibration, and they send it directly to the person and we remove it. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 2 hours, it depends. But it's all done remotely. And the people have all said, oh my God, I feel lighter. I
Yeah.
feel like I was on a diet. I feel lighter. This is
love that.
crazy.
That's a great word.
So is it fair to link together the words energy and vibrations?
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
Yes.
are we talking about the same?
Energy and vibration. Energy is vibration.
Right.
Vibration is energy.
See, and that's really, Sherry, what we've talked about on this show all season, is the thread that weaves through this tapestry of what we unfortunately define as paranormal, even though that's an our show, because paranormal has this definition, if you will,
Connotation?
Lisa, of ghosts and goblins, and
right.
it never touches on
This stuff,
this
metaphysical
stuff.
things.
It doesn't touch on mediums and psychics. It truly has
But it's
transcended
kind
to
of
mean
just-
ghosts and
It's just kind
spirits.
of gone that way for a while, and because of
That's
your
right.
insight and your vibration is rising, you're willing to open it up
That's
to
right.
something else.
Well, see,
You're
and
one of
I
the
believe
few.
we have to do that.
We do
because
have to do that.
I honestly believe that we're stuck, and I've been around almost twice as long as you people have, unfortunately. But I think we're stuck in this zone, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
of just, ghost hunters go out, they get all this evidence, and they put it in a file drawer and close it and say, okay,
Yes.
what's the next one?
Right.
Yeah.
And nobody seems to care what's the next step.
Right.
We're dealing with something here we don't understand, and nobody outside of this room, at least, seems to want to really figure that out. They just
Right.
want to do an investigation.
They're gonna awaken.
Stay out till midnight and, let's have a lot of fun, and then move on to the next one. So to me, it's interesting to me, every show we've done, we've heard the synergies between groups that hardly know each other.
Right.
I mean, we just had a gal on here a couple weeks ago on the stone chambers
Yes.
in New Hampshire, and she's talking about energy. She's talking about stuff like that, and you say, this is the same thing we hear
Right.
from psychics, from
Right.
From all
vibrations,
And it's
from
just
media.
different levels of frequency,
Right.
different levels of vibration.
But see, it's time now to get that conversation
out.
out there,
And
where
it
we
is.
now start to really talk
About it.
in general about it, how does
Yes.
that tie in? Because to me, there's a bottom line somewhere to all of this.
Yeah.
What is this energy? It's easy to say energy, vibrations, but what is it?
Frequency.
What is it? And that's really where we're kind of moving forward, I
We
think,
are
anyways.
very high vibration beings here,
Right.
and we've gotten really lost along the way. So
Yep.
the vibration really diminished. Think of it this way as a candle, a little tiny flame on the end of a candle,
Mm.
or a torch that has this great big giant flame.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're supposed to be.
Right.
But we've diminished it
To a
through
torch.
the so
That's a
many
good
years
analogy.
that we've been here.
It is.
We've diminished
But
it.
it's also because of misinformation, it's how we were raised.
Well, it's, you know
and-
what, it's
sure.
listening to everybody else
It
instead of
is.
doing the homework. You know,
Right.
I found something very recently that I just loved, and I put this on my Facebook page. Nobody gets out without going in.
Huh.
And that's the way out, is through meditation and going within. That's how you get out, and that's how you lift your vibration. It's going within. And we have to stop using the ears and listening to everybody else. Just because somebody says blah, 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 you know, you should do this, you should do that, this might work, blah, blah, blah. Take it in, but you at the end of the day have to be responsible. Well, what is
We do
best
that.
for me?
Yeah.
Right.
See,
right.
we talked about, and
Meditation is
Orlando
the-
was a
is the
terrible
biggest
thing.
thing.
I mean, just terrible, as was the tragedy at Disney World. But in Orlando, to me, that seems to be manageable. Because if you had gotten to this individual earlier on, he or she would have low vibration. So if you could raise that vibration, do you eliminate?
Would he have listened? That's
Well,
the
well,
point.
right.
well,
Would he have listened? He's not ready. That's why they chose.
That's
And this
right.
is going to sound really strange to you and really abstract, but this is the reason. These people, all of us as well, there's no human on this planet that didn't do this. We contracted to come through and learn specific things in this lifetime, just like 9/11. Those people in those planes,
true.
children, adults, whatever, contracted to come through and crash into that plane for the higher good of humanity to wake us up. We're not waking up fast enough. They need us to wake up, and that's what they're doing.
Okay,
So
so-
they agreed to come through and do that. Orlando, the same thing. As horrible as that is, they got our attention, didn't they?
Okay, but you say they. Who was they?
The higher realms, divine source, whatever you want to call they. I don't put any religion background
too.
on it. The divine source is the light that is bringing the light to this plane. And that is what we're tapping into when we do meditation and more.
So outside of the area of religion, could that source be alien?
There are aliens out there. They're all different species of vibrations. So
Right.
yes, of course there's aliens, of course. Low vibration aliens, other galactic vibrations. There's galactic beings on this planet right now. There's light beings on this
Yes.
planet right now.
Yes.
They're all at different vibrations.
Well-
Some from other galaxies that are here helping humanity. Some from other galaxies here not helping humanity. But that is diminishing. Those are getting smaller.
So if you took a young,
What time is it?
yeah, we've got about 2 minutes. If you took a young criminal, 18 years old, as opposed to incarcerating him or her,
Again, that's the right and left side off.
if you took them and ran them
Yes.
through some sort of a program like this,
Yep.
can you change that individual?
You can help them get started. They have to be willing to continue. It's a choice.
That's the whole thing,
Absolutely.
because I
You
personally.
can start them.
Yes. I personally know someone who's an addict and has gone through legal issues, law issues, lost the family, the whole thing. And it seems like no matter what you introduce to them sometime, if they're not ready to
They're not ready.
or
Have
prepared
the
for
free
it,
will,
They're
too.
not
it's
going
not
to do
gonna
the work.
matter.
It's
Right,
a choice.
Exactly.
It's a choice. So you can do all the free things in the world. That's why they tell me, certain ones that come to me, parents even crying,
true.
my child's attached, I know it, blah, 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 we need to do it. I wait for the word. We can't remove it. Sorry, you cannot remove that attachment from that child because the child hasn't learned the lesson or the
That's
adult
right.
hasn't learned the
I
life lesson
fully
yet.
believe that.
So we can't remove it.
But wouldn't an individual, in any circumstances, wouldn't they follow a path of healing versus a path
No.
of, losing
No.
your family,
No.
being incarcerated,
Exactly. It's
be
like-
sleepless,
We
in
would think
Seattle?
that.
I mean, the
Some
whole nine
people have
yards.
to hit rock bottom to get to that. Some people have to hit rock bottom.
And
Not everybody
And
is
they
ready.
don't- Right, and even if they hit rock bottom, it doesn't even
Mean that they're
matter
gonna.
to them.
And
They're
I
just
think it
not
goes
ready.
back to what we talked about last week too. Sometimes it's like past life stuff. You might be
Right.
coming in and
Yes.
you might be an older soul and you might have chose harder lessons this lifetime
Yes,
around, you know, and you
yes.
might have chose challenging
Things
attachments
because
or
you didn't-
because
you
you want to
didn't
evolve
clear them the last time.
or
Yes.
want to evolve more or faster.
It's all about life
Yes.
lessons and what we
It
haven't
is.
cleared and what we're dragging along with us each lifetime.
Yeah.
And accepting it, and accepting what we're
Yeah.
what we're ready for and what we're not ready for. It's basically our responsibility.
That's why I'm a
It's-
lifestyle coach, not a coach, but a lifestyle coach.
Yes.
Teaching people and educating people how to step up. This is what you can do to help you, but it's your choice. I'm not going to do it for you.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so you have been gracious enough to do a demonstration for
Sure.
us.
Would be
and
happy
our,
to.
and our partner, Lisa O,
Oh,
my pal. Lisa has been nice enough to act as our demo. And the reason we kind of did this for our audience is because we don't want them to think that we
What is
influenced
this
this
about?
in
Let's
any
see
way.
it.
Correct.
So,
I've never had it done, so I'm open.
open. Go ahead.
well,
Yes.
and,
Very
and that
good.
was the other reason that we chose you, because you are open.
Yes.
What I think, when we deal with a lot of this stuff in the world of paranormal,
Mm-hmm.
at least, I believe in energy, and I think you have to be open to the energy, no
Just to
matter
try
how
it.
Well, I'm a
it comes
Reiki
in.
master. I do Reiki, but I've never had
Yes.
this done.
Right.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
So it's just
Right.
another
Absolutely.
modality, another tool
Right.
in the toolkit.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, I've had a lot of success with men because of them looking like tools. They're not afraid.
Right.
And it's music and children. They
Yes.
like something tangible they can hold, they can see it, versus the Melchizedek work or the
Well,
Reiki.
the charts, at least, am I
true.
right
And the
thinking
charts.
this is the left brain, right brain
Yes.
mentality?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's that theory of men with the left brain, women with the right
My
brain.
brain,
Is
yeah.
that
You know,
right?
this is creativity and support, though, and this is nurturing. So yeah, left and right.
Yep.
Left and right energy field, sure.
My wife
So-
always says to me, well, you have to have a brain to have
Oh
a
my
left brain. and a right brain."
gosh.
So, okay,
on
so,
that, so
Ready to
why
start?
don't we just have them in the middle? Like
Okay.
if we want to move the table.
so we'll move the
Okay.
table.
To up, sacral and solar plex. We're going to go to the heart. I'm going to go right underneath. And then the throat, we get close and go to the crown. And then we do the shoulders.
Ooh.
You can feel that moving through you.
Totally feel it more on this side. Interesting.
You probably have more energy jams on that side. Okay, so we've at least opened up the line for her.
Do you
So-
do the third eye?
No.
You don't.
No, you just go up. Yep, you don't, because it's close enough to the crown. So what we do now is on the left side of her body, I'm going to start at her feet. Even though we do the 7 chakras, we start the feet and the knees. So we're going to intend that this is 5 feet right here. So when I do a remote session on an individual in my office, and they're, let's say, in California, I am intending that their hologram is with me. So that's what I'm doing now. This is the 5-foot mark. So as I move in, combing through her field, I'm going to pick up a vibration.
I can feel that on my feet.
Right here. Any injuries to your left foot or ankle in the last maybe 5 or 6 years?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that it hasn't.
Right. Just can't remember
I'm
it.
just trying to remember.
If there's no injury that we can think of or that we can find, oftentimes it's the grounding or her footing in life is off a bit.
Oh, I'm never grounded.
And you know, something that can help that enormously
I live up here.
is hematite or smoky quartz.
Yes. I generally wear hematite, or I put copper pennies in my shoes.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Okay, so now we're at the knees. And the left knee represents, whether we're male or female, it doesn't matter, it's the same. Just different timelines. The left knee represents things that she's holding that don't serve her anymore. So things that may have taken place many years ago, and she's still holding on to them. Not appropriate anymore. And they may have been okay then, they're not now.
So let's get rid of them.
Yeah, so we just scale it out, and we keep going. This is close to the body. Something's going on right now that you're holding on to that isn't appropriate to hold on to. So we'll just use the Lemurian crystal. It's a pulsating crystal. And when I use that, we're shooting a vibration through it from the tuning forks, and what it's doing is when I can't move the wall that's here, that's up. Are you okay? I hate my back to you. You want to sit over there next to him or something?
I'm
Okay.
really enjoying it. Thank you.
So what I do with the Lemurian is I just hold it like this over the area of distinction that's stuck. And what it's doing is it's sending a very strong vibration through this, and it shatters it like glass. And then what this does is it acts like a magnet at that point, and we scale it up in pieces. Because you can't move the wall, but you can certainly move pieces, and we just keep going.
I want my wall to be mesh. I want it to just go right through.
Right now, there's some things going on that you want to be doing and you're not.
That's
Present day. Close to the body represents present day. Away from the field 5 feet out, that's your birth line. And I've actually gotten information on people in utero, when they were still in utero, of the pregnancy that they had with their mother, or just after being born. Now the left side of the body, again, is the mother's vibration, the mother's energy that fueled your left side. So if mom was, wounded in some way or another, emotionally or physically in her life, that vibration is not going to be 100%, so it's going to be a little bit low. So yours isn't going to be 100%. Nobody's is. It's up to us as individuals now that we have all this holistic help to get going. She probably couldn't. Back in the day, they didn't have holistic. Yeah, right now. So what we're doing when we call them at this point, we're just trying to neutralize the energy and blend. I can feel that in my feet.
I can feel it too. I'm a little nauseous, to be honest with you.
And when I can't get the energy to move, especially in the sacral area, I usually use this in the field as well. This acts like sandpaper. So when you want to move something, or if you're finishing some furniture in your house, you're going to use a really rough grade and really get a lot of the crap off of it first.
Right.
And then you're going to go back over it with really smooth sandpaper to kind of just smooth it all out. Well, that's what this is. This is the rough sandpaper. Okay. And then this will smooth it out. So if you're in a hurry and you're like in an expo and you only have limited amount of time, this is what we're doing.
I can feel it from here.
I can too. But you're further away. I definitely feel that in my heart. Maybe that's not where I'm supposed to feel it.
Yeah, no, you're supposed to feel it anywhere you're feeling it, because it's moving your chi. Okay. It's better than it was.
I don't expect miracles today.
Solar. Solar plexus on the left side of the body, male or female, again, gender doesn't matter, is self-worth, self-esteem issues, and that can start really young. If somebody just wasn't attentive, this is the nurturing side. So if somebody just wasn't attentive and helping you along, because they couldn't if they were wounded themselves, or if you came from a family that was divorced, that was challenging for you. I'll pick up the vibration of where that went array in your field, or something took place. You were very little though, you were very young, something took place that was, hang on. It really knocked you down a little bit. Was there somebody there that you were counting on and they weren't there? Yes, no, maybe?
Sure.
Okay.
I think I know what it is.
Did you know did your parents get divorced when you were little?
No, my parents are still married.
Okay, good. So it wasn't that.
Happily married.
Something just threw off your energy field as far
I
as...
was adopted at birth.
Okay, there it is.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
That's it, because it was way out here when you were young.
Yeah.
That's it. So you got energy from the surrogate parents. So it doesn't matter if it's not the bloodline.
Right.
And again, that's where we came back to the same conversation earlier. You contracted to come through with this mother, but to be raised by them.
Right.
Because the vibration was going to be different for your learning. So you agreed to do that before you came through.
Yep. I believe that 100%.
Okay. All right, so this is the heart. The heart on the left side of the body represents sadness, grief, and loss, and not always representative of death. It could be just simply grief and loss of a job, parents getting divorced, your best friend moving away, you're 6 years old. Oh my God, my best friend is moving away. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. Things like that. For a 6-year-old, that's a lot of grief.
Right.
So you have to put yourself in their timeline. But it can represent death as well. But it's not limited to that. In the last 10, 15 years, something took place.
I'm counting back.
Yeah, it caused you some sadness, some grief. And it could be 1,000,001 different things.
Right.
It's not necessarily an emotional
Right.
thing with a person. It could be loss of a job,
Right.
situation, exactly.
I stayed in a job that I hated,
Hated.
for many, many, many years before I did what I love now.
Yeah. And that holds us down.
It does.
It does. Something right now, though, is distressing you. Anything going on that's frustrating or causing you grief? I mean, you don't have to say what it is, but is there something?
yes.
Okay,
That's why I'm laughing.
I know. She knows.
good. As long as you understand what I'm saying, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do this once with this, and I'll just keep moving on.
Maybe I wasn't the right person to have.
Oh, no, you were.
I got lots of stuff happening.
And it's all good.
It is all good.
This is the throat. And on the left side of the body, it represents speaking up for yourself. So oftentimes, a person either can't speak up for themselves because they're either shy, or the parents or the guardians that
I
they
want you to
had,
be clear.
or the parents or the guardians that they had were suppressing them, were too overbearing.
Yeah.
So you, at some point, you were not speaking for yourself. You were not speaking up.
Really?
Child, right here. Look how far along that was.
Okay.
Little. You were little. You may not remember, and a lot of my clients, they don't remember situations, and we're not going to remember everything. But the tuning forks don't lie. They always find ripples. So I'm just going to bring that all the way through, and I'm going to go to the other side, just so that we can at least clear the other side and get balanced, because I don't want to run out of time here. So the right side is the father's energy, and I'm just going to move along, and I'm going to...
I can feel that.
The throat on the right side is oftentimes when you would finally speak up, you weren't always being heard. Okay, so this is the heart, the father's
Nobody
side.
wants to hear what I have to say.
Emotional caretaker. You started at a very young age with that pattern, way out here. Emotional caretaker, you say yes, but you mean no.
Oh. Sometimes you just get thrown into that role.
It's a pattern that you picked up, though, as a child. That's why you're in that role. You can change the pattern.
Yeah.
Solar plexus on the dad's side. Whoever your stepdad was he there for you? Was he supportive?
I don't have a stepdad.
Your dad.
You have a regular dad then?
Yeah.
A blood dad, okay. You said you were adopted, that's why I'm asking you
I was at
that.
birth. So, I mean, my parents have been my parents for like 48 years.
Okay. Oh, okay, so he's just your dad, I get it.
Yes.
Okay, yep. Yep. Somewhere along the line, there was a miscommunication there from him. He wasn't as supportive as you wanted at one point. And I can feel that.
Sure, that makes sense.
As it gets closer to the body, it could be a male that you're involved with at the present time, but I'm not getting anything there, I'm getting it out here.
Okay.
So that's representative of whoever raised you, the father or the uncle, the grandfather. I'm just going to go right down the gamut so we can get down to your knees. The knees on the right side of the body represent challenges or obstacles that you're going through right now with something new that's around you right now that you're doing. And it could be something as simple as just an idea that's new that you're trying to push forward. It could be a move. It could be a new job that's coming, something that you're trying to get into anyway. There's confusion around it. Isn't it something new you're trying to do?
Yep.
Okay. So it's right here, close to your body, which represents now.
Okay.
And then your feet, same thing. Grounding, or your footing is just off in life. And especially where your left one was off, this one is really off right now, present day.
Okay.
Very off. Any injury there?
I can't think of any injuries on either one of my feet.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
Okay, it probably isn't then.
It's probably just me being not grounded.
I'm going to just ground you back down
Okay.
and then seal you. And that's what we do. This is a session.
That's awesome.
And you know, the short of it is, and then we wrap her body and seal it.
That's awesome.
So it's the hips, come all the way down, the knees, down to the feet.
Feel that. I don't feel nauseous anymore. That's good.
All right. It's enormously helpful to balance a person's field. Whoops. So what I'm going to do is wrap her, and we cross at the solar plexus and seal it there. And then we use this to seal the field. To bring balance.
Wow.
So it's wrap and seal at the end.
Awesome.
And that is a session.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was
Thank you for being here
yeah,
for this.
God, that was nice. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I had a question watching you do the demonstration, actually two. One was, you said at one point, I can feel this.
Tension.
Yeah, something, energy or something.
Tension.
How do you physically feel it?
I feel it in my hands,
Yeah.
and I can hear it in the tuning fork.
You can.
It shifts, yeah. The timbre and the volume in the tuning fork shift. So I always know when I'm coming into something because it either gets really loud or it gets really quiet and shuts
Wow.
right off almost completely. And then you can feel it in your fingers as well. Plus, sometimes I can feel it at my feet. It runs through me, and I can feel it at my feet.
Wow, almost like
A current?
Yeah, current.
It's a current.
right.
It's an electrical
Go
current.
to the ground, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This is an electromagnetic field we're working in.
So my question to you was, did you feel this?
Oh, yeah.
You kept saying on 3 or 4 occasions,
Yeah.
God, I can feel this.
I really could,
So
yes.
tell me what you physically felt.
Well, I did feel nauseous for a little while when you first started.
You
I was,
did?
Okay.
I was a little afraid of that, yeah. But that went away. I could feel vibration. I could feel things moving through my body, too.
You could?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow,
Yeah.
a physical feeling that something was.
Well, it
Shifting.
wasn't like a current going through my body. I don't know that I would call it that, but I am familiar with energy, so I felt the shift in
felt
the energy going to different places. Like at one point, I felt it in my heart, and I think you were working down
here, yep.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
It is.
You got any
It
questions?
moves. That's what it
No,
does.
I
It
just, I
moves.
loved it. I thought it was great. And even though I was only sitting a few feet away, I felt it.
Good.
So I was
You
like,
did?
this is great. No, like,
Yes,
I
and you
felt
know,
her,
it's
you know,
funny
my
that
best
she's saying
friends,
that
you know?
because everybody that I work on
Yes.
at an expo or a fair, anybody that's in my close proximity, they are also being lifted to alpha state, and they
true.
feel the difference. There's 4 states of being, and I'll leave you with that. There's beta, wide awake, we're in beta state. Alpha is the next state up, a little bit cognizant of your surroundings still, not 100%. It's like a lazy Sunday afternoon.
Right.
You're drowsy, you fall asleep. You can
Yes.
kind of hear the TV and kind of not. That's alpha state. Theta is your spirit guides and your divine counsel comes to work with you. Your ego is actually asleep. That's why we need the REM sleep so they can work with us. That's the only time they can get in if we're not doing meditation work or clearing work so that they can work with us because the ego is silent and it doesn't get in the way. And then those first 3 they can measure scientifically. They know where we are and they know what the vibration is. The last or the 4th is delta. That's a coma. We are in a coma. We are still alive. We are still attached to the 3-dimensional field, but they don't know how far out we've gone. They don't know where we are. And people that have been in comas, even for years, have said, they've got documentation on this, they could hear everything that was going on in
Yes.
the room.
That's
Sure.
right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So they're still
I've
connected.
heard it, too.
They haven't snapped the silver cord, so that we are still here. That's how we stay attentive to the other side with this cord.
Well, I'll tell you, this was a great show, and like
was.
a lot of the shows we've done this year, there's just not enough time in an hour. So we're gonna invite you back.
Oh, good. Very good.
Season 2.
Yes.
And pick up on this a little further, because I think there's still a lot of things to be
Most definitely.
discussed.
Yes.
Agreed.
We got one more show. We were gonna have this as our last show tonight, but we decided to do one more show.
Oh, nice.
That would be me and Debbie. next week, or 2
Yes,
weeks, I
in
guess,
2
from
weeks,
now.
yes.
And we're gonna kind of recap the season, Deb. So
Right.
that'll be a lot of fun. We're gonna
That'd be
highlight
great.
some of the guests. We've had
Yes.
some great shows.
Good.
And the guests really have made the shows, along with Art. Art's done a
Right.
great job directing the
Yes.
show
Yeah.
for us, and
Yeah.
the footage and everything else, he works extremely
Yay,
hard.
Art.
So, yeah. Let's hear it for Art.
Yay, Art.
Okay, well, thank you for being on Paranormal and Beyond. We look forward to next week. Be safe. Good night.
Good night.
Right.